Hey everyone, welcome back. First off, a massive thank you to all our amazing subscribers and followers. Your support means the world to me, and I'm thrilled to have you all along for these chilling journeys. If you're new here and love spine-tingling tales, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our eerie family. Today, we're narrating the haunting Texas Snapchat horror story. So grab your popcorn and brace yourself for some serious goosebumps. And remember, I love hearing from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on this story, and if you have any horror stories or paranormal experiences to share, let me know. I'd love to feature your story in a future video. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the terrifying tale of the Texas Snapchat horror story. I never thought I'd find myself in the middle of a nightmare over something as simple as a Snapchat message. It started on a quiet Friday evening, the kind of evening where everything felt ordinary. The air was cool, the streets calm, and the world seemed to move at its usual predictable pace. I was sitting in my living room, scrolling through my phone, when the notification popped up, a message on Snapchat from a name I didn't recognize. The name on the profile was Democrat Texas. A quick glance at the profile picture, a black and white photo of a small Texas town, gave me no immediate reason to be alarmed. It looked like the kind of picture you'd see on a tourist's account, nothing too strange. But what caught my attention was the message that came through. Hey, you don't know me, but I've been following you for a while. I see you're into the same things as me. It was strange, but harmless. The person mentioned a couple of shared interests, some bands we both followed, a few movies I'd posted about in my stories, and a couple of places in Texas I'd been to in the past. I figured it was some random person who'd stumbled across my account, just a fan reaching out. Hey, cool to meet you. Where are you from? I replied, typing out my answer quickly before heading to the kitchen to grab a drink. I didn't expect to be talking to anyone else for the night. By the time I returned, there was already a response waiting for me. I live near you, or at least I used to. I stopped mid-step. Something about that sentence stopped me cold. The words felt off. Why would someone say that? I glanced back at the message. The account was empty except for the profile picture. No name, no stories, nothing else. Just the message. Before I could come up with a reply, the next message popped up. I've been to your house before. I know what it looks like. I know what your front door looks like. It's funny how easy it is to find someone in this town. My blood ran cold. That wasn't normal. I hadn't mentioned my address anywhere on my profile, and I sure hadn't posted any photos of my house. I clicked on the user's name and went to their profile. Nothing. No posts, no stories, no followers. Just that photo of a small, nondescript town in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, I felt a chill in the room. The kind of cold you get when you're being watched but can't figure out from where. I stared at the phone in my hands, my heart beating a little faster. I hadn't replied to the last message yet, but my thumb hovered over the screen, unsure what to do next. I considered blocking the user, but something made me hesitate. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was something else. But against my better judgment, I typed a response. Okay, that's kind of creepy. Who are you? I put my phone down and tried to shake off the feeling. I convinced myself it was a prank. After all, who could take something like this seriously? There are millions of people on Snapchat, and some of them are just odd. I grabbed my drink and tried to focus on something else. The message had spooked me. Sure, but I wasn't going to let it ruin my night. But then, something strange happened. The screen on my phone flashed and buzzed. It was a new message. I grabbed the phone, trying to shake off the unease building in my chest. The text read, "You should look out your window. I'm out here." My breath caught in my throat. My mind raced. I wasn't in a rural area. I lived in a typical suburban neighborhood. There was no reason for anyone to be lurking around outside my window. I was alone in the house, and all the lights were off except for the soft glow from my living room lamp. I turned toward the window. Nothing. I laughed nervously at myself, brushing it off. Maybe it was a prank. I'd just been thinking about horror movies and ghost stories earlier that week. I wasn't going to let something this dumb get to me, but then I saw it. In the reflection of the window, something moved in the distance. A dark figure. I froze. My hand went to the lock on the window, but it was too late. The figure was gone as quickly as it had appeared. The wind rattled the leaves in the trees outside, casting shadows that made the night seem darker than it really was. I stared out the window for a while, watching, waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. I almost convinced myself that it was my imagination playing tricks on me, until another message appeared on my phone. I saw you look. I'll be waiting for you. Good night. That was it. I turned off my phone and tried to push the feeling of dread out of my chest. I decided to head to bed, telling myself this was all just some weird coincidence, a harmless prank. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I didn't sleep that night. The image of that shadowy figure outside my window lingered in my mind like a bad dream, replaying over and over. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind, sent my pulse racing. The silence was deafening. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just a prank. But deep down, I knew something was off. The next morning, I woke up to a new message on Snapchat. I saw you didn't sleep well. You should be careful. I'm always watching. Always. The message was almost casual, like it was the most normal thing in the world. It wasn't threatening outright, but the weight of the words sent a chill crawling up my spine. I checked the profile again. Nothing. No new details. It was still just a blank page with that old, grainy photo of a Texas town. I knew I should block them, delete the account, and move on. But there was something so strange, so compelling about it that I couldn't stop myself from replying. Who are you? What do you want from me? It was stupid, I know, but I couldn't resist. I needed answers. I needed to know what the hell was going on. The response came quickly. It's not about what I want from you. It's about what you need from me. I've been watching you for a while now, and I can tell you need help. You're alone in this town, aren't you? That was when it hit me. This person didn't just know my location. They knew something about me, something no one could know. I wasn't alone, not really. I had friends, sure, but my family lived across the state, and most of my friends had moved away after high school. I had this nagging feeling I was being targeted. But for what? What did this stranger know? I stared at the message for what felt like forever. I wanted to respond, to ask more questions, but every time I thought about typing something, my fingers froze. Instead, I went about my day, trying to shake off the feeling of being watched. But the thoughts kept coming back. What did they mean by, I've been watching you for a while? How did they know I was alone in this town? That evening, after dinner, I sat on my couch, scrolling through social media, trying to distract myself. That's when I got another message. I'll be at your door soon. Don't worry. You'll see me soon enough. My heart stopped. What did that mean? Was this person actually coming to my house? I had to know. I grabbed my phone and checked the location settings on my Snapchat. The last time they'd sent a message, the location was close, just a few miles away from my street. I quickly opened the map, zooming in on the area, trying to pinpoint where they might be. There was nothing, just the usual streets, houses, and buildings that were always there. But when I glanced up from my phone and into the window across the room, something caught my eye. A shadow moved across the street, too fast to be someone just walking by. It was a blur, like someone was moving too quickly, intentionally staying in the dark spots, avoiding the streetlights. I rushed to the window, heart racing. Nothing. The street was empty, quiet as ever. I sat back down, my hands shaking. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I tried to calm myself. I'd been on edge ever since that first message. I needed to snap out of it. But then the next message came through. Look outside now. I didn't even want to check. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I had to be imagining this, right? I'd become so consumed by the mystery, so gripped by fear, that my brain was playing tricks on me. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was just paranoid. I stood up, slowly walking to the window, trying to breathe through the anxiety in my chest. I pulled back the curtain just enough to see outside. Nothing. For a moment, I thought I had been wrong. Maybe I'd been looking for something that wasn't there. But then my phone buzzed again. I'm closer than you think. My blood ran cold. I could feel the pulse in my neck, the weight of the message crashing into my consciousness. It wasn't enough that they were watching me from afar. Now they were playing games with me, taunting me. I didn't know what to do anymore. I had to get out of my house. I had to make sure I wasn't being watched. If I was, I grabbed my keys, slipped into my shoes, and left. I walked around the block a few times, pretending I was just going for a walk. The streets were empty. No one else was out at this hour. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. But every time I turned around, no one was there. I returned to my house, more confused than before. I had checked the surroundings, made sure there was no one watching, no one lurking in the shadows. I felt like I was losing my grip on reality, like I was being drawn into some twisted game. I grabbed my phone and opened Snapchat once again, only to find that there was a new message waiting for me. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, and soon, neither will you. The words hit me like a punch in the gut. I stared at the screen for a long time, unable to process the meaning behind them. I wasn't just being watched, I was being hunted, and whoever was behind that screen wasn't going to stop until they got exactly what they wanted. Suddenly, I heard a sound, a knock at the door. I didn't move. My heart was pounding in my chest as I stared at the door. The knock came again, this time louder, more urgent. Who was it? Was it the person behind the messages? Or was it someone else? I didn't know what to think. Couldn't breathe. I was paralyzed with fear, my hands trembling as I reached for the doorknob. The knock came again, sharper this time. But before I could open the door, my phone buzzed again. I'm already inside. Couldn't breathe. My fingers gripped the door handle so tightly that my knuckles turned white. The knock had stopped, but the sound of it still echoed in my ears. My heart was hammering in my chest, and every instinct told me to run, to grab my keys and leave this house behind. But I couldn't. I was paralyzed by the unknown. The phone buzzed again. I'm already inside. The words sent a shiver down my spine. I could feel my pulse thudding in my neck. Every rational thought screamed at me to look away, to shut off my phone and pretend like none of this was happening. But I couldn't. I wasn't sure I even wanted to anymore. I had to know who was behind this, what they wanted. With shaky hands, I backed away from the door, dropping the phone onto the couch. I was too scared to look through the peephole. If there was someone out there, I didn't want to see them. But I had no choice. I had to know. I crept back to the door and pressed my eye to the small circular glass. For a moment, I saw nothing, just the dark, empty street outside. I felt a flicker of relief. Maybe this was all just a sick joke. But then, I saw something. A shadow moved across the yard, just past the corner of my house. It wasn't fast. It wasn't even subtle. It was deliberate, slow, as if whoever was out there wanted me to see them. I stepped back, my breath caught in my throat. There was someone or something standing just beyond the trees, out of sight, waiting. I couldn't see their face, but I could feel their presence. The air grew thick with the sense that I was being watched. I grabbed my phone again, the urgency building inside me. I needed to know who was doing this. I needed answers. I opened Snapchat and checked the messages. The account name was still the same, Democrat Texas. I had a sick feeling that I knew what was coming, but I had to ask. I had to confront it. "Who are you?" I typed, my fingers trembling with every word. The reply came almost instantly. "I'm the one who's been watching you. I'm the one who knows everything about you." My heart skipped a beat. I didn't need to read the rest of the message. I already knew something was very, very wrong. Whoever this was had been watching me for a lot longer than I had known. They knew details I hadn't shared with anyone. But how? I clicked on the account again, searching for any clue that might tell me where they were. I looked through every possible option, trying to find something, anything, that might connect the account to a real person. But there was nothing. No details. No profile picture except that photo of the empty Texas town. I sat down on the couch, staring at the screen, my mind racing. How could someone know so much about me? I hadn't even told my friends half of the things this person knew. And how could they be so close? I needed answers. I had to find out who this person was. So I did what anyone would do in my situation. I turned to the internet. I Googled everything I could think of. I searched for anything related to the account name, the picture, the small town in Texas that appeared in the profile. I scoured social media platforms, looking for even the slightest connection to this mysterious figure. It was then that I found something. A forum post on a local Texas message board caught my attention. It was about a strange phenomenon that had been happening in the area for years. The post mentioned multiple people who had reported strange interactions with a mysterious figure. Someone who would reach out through social media, usually Snapchat, and seem to know things about their lives that no one should know. But the posts weren't just about random pranks. The stories were disturbing. People reported feeling stalked, harassed, even followed. Some had received photos of their homes, their families, their most private spaces, sent through Snapchat messages. And then, things took a darker turn. The post continued. In 1999, a family in a small town just outside of Texas town name disappeared. Their house was found ransacked, but no bodies were ever recovered. The case was never solved, but people still talk about it. Some say the family didn't just disappear. They were taken by something else. They say something evil lives in that house now, feeding off fear. And that same thing has been reaching out to people through their phones. I felt my blood run cold. The house, the disappearance. It all sounded too familiar. This wasn't just some prank. It wasn't just some isolated incident. Whoever or whatever was behind this had been doing it for years. And now, it was coming after me. I quickly closed the page, feeling the weight of the discovery hit me like a punch to the gut. I was in over my head. There was no escaping it now. The phone buzzed again. "I see you're getting closer to the truth, but you're too late. The house is waiting. You should visit it. You might find the answers you're looking for." I froze. The house. The one from the forum post. I couldn't know I shouldn't go there. I knew it was a trap, but something inside me couldn't resist. I had to know. I had to face it. Without thinking, I grabbed my keys, slammed the door shut behind me, and got into my car. The thought of going to that house made my stomach turn, but I knew I had no choice. As I drove toward the outskirts of town, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. My phone buzzed again, but this time it was a picture, a blurry image of the road ahead. The caption read, "I'm already there." I looked up, heart racing, and saw the outline of an old house in the distance, just beyond the trees. I was getting closer. I drove closer, my hands gripping the steering wheel tighter with each passing second. The air felt thick, heavy, like something was pressing down on me. I could barely see the house through the thick trees and brush, but I knew it was there. I had to find the answers. I had to understand what was happening. But as I neared the house, something strange happened. My car stalled. The engine sputtered, and I couldn't get it to start. I sat there, frozen, staring at the house in front of me, the lights of the car flickering like a warning. Then my phone buzzed again. "I've been waiting,"